and if you open any of them, you find nothing. But I also encourage you to put bread or sticks or anything you want to serve as a decoy item to cover up the real treasure, because the real treasure is hidden. And all we need to do is place a lever right here next to the wall and flick it on. And now if we reach into the barrels, we will find the real treasure. Now, if we look behind this wall, we find that there's nothing aside from the real treasure chest, which I also encourage you to hide because, well, that's the whole purpose of this thing. So as you can see, the redstone is all buried underground and it's extremely simple. If I break this block, you'll see that all we have is a single piece of redstone dust and a cart assembler setup. Whenever this is powered on, the assembler turns the wall along with the barrels into a contraption, allowing us to reach right through them to open the chests in the back. Neat, huh? The second contraption is yet another item sorting system, and an extremely simple one at that. Essentially, we have this vault, which I haven't set to the full size, but you can always expand it up to 3 by 3 by 9, which will take a huge amount of items. Under the vault, you simply have smart chutes with filters pulling out the items you need, and this way you can pile everything you own into this vault and have everything instantly sorted. I love these because they involve no rotation, and that's kind of a thing I have at this point. And because this is a vault, so you can't directly access it, it pairs perfectly with a display link set to list matching items and their full numbers, making this a fully functional sorting and storage system. So you will be seeing more vault contraptions from me. In fact, you'll be seeing some even in this very same video. Moving on. The third contraption is a fully powered steam engine with a setup that I haven't seen being utilized much before. And you may have already guessed that it uses a cart assembler. We just have 9 deployers sitting under the blaze burners with a row of chassis on the side like this. So with a chest full of blaze cakes attached to the assembler contraption, whenever we send a pulse to the cart assembler, it will grab whatever is in the chest and deploy it using the deployers, which in this case fully powers on the steam engine. Now, it's worth noting that to expand this and add more steam engines, all you have to do is add more chassis here and then build the deployers, blaze burners, and engine, etc. So you won't need any extra rotating parts to power the deployers or any extra chests for fuel, making expanding this engine a breeze. But there's a little more to this. You may already know that blaze burners burn at 3 different levels. There's the passive level without any fuel, there's the first level where you power it using coal, and then there's the third level where you power it using blaze cakes. With blaze cakes, you get the highest stress capacity from the steam engine, followed by the coal and then the passive mode. So if we want to fully automate this engine, we simply have to draw a comparator signal out of any of the blaze burners, and luckily, the blaze burners give out a signal strength of 2 when powered by coal, and a signal strength of 3 when powered by blaze cakes. So right here you can see that we have 2 NOT gates attached to these blocks, and with this setup, the deployers will refuel the engine whenever it goes down to the first level. So it will fuel it with blaze cakes. But if you'd like for the engine to only refuel when you go below level 1, then you simply break this little redstone dust, so we'll only fire it up at that point. This setup will ensure that the engine burners are running continuously. Now for the water supply. I simply have 2 infinite water sources sitting on top of the engine with 2 pumps sitting between the water and the tank. So expanding this is also pretty easy. You would just remove this separating wall and go ahead and build the second tank and its water supply. And the pumps are constantly powered by this windmill, which generates about 2,000 stress units, all of which are being used by these pumps. So for each new steam engine that you add into this system, you will likely need an extra 2,000 stress units to power the pumps. But I do have a design where the first steam engine powers the water pumps for all the other steam engines that follow, so let me know if that's something you'd like to see. Now the last 2 contraptions are going to be utilizing vaults again, so let's take a look at this beauty. I've always been fascinated with horizontal item transfer that requires no conveyor belts. And of course, we always had the vanilla method of transferring items using water, but I stumbled upon this hybrid method of using water and vaults to achieve near instant item transfer times Essentially, the 3x3 face of the vault has finally allowed me to build this little junction here without having to stagger the vertical spacing of the vaults. Items get pulled out, pushed by the water, down onto the depot, and into the next vault. And you can make this a little more efficient by using powered weighted ejectors here instead of depots, because they can receive multiple batches of items instead of just one at a time. So if I place a stack of items in this chest, then race all the way across to open this destination chest, you'll see that our stack is already here. And I also turned this one at a 90-degree angle to show you that you can set up some pretty crazy logistics using this technique. Now on to the last and most exciting machine in my personal opinion. This here is a configurable storage system, meaning that we're using cart assembler systems to place 4 different vaults in the physical space of only one. This is also very safe thanks to this switch technique right here. You see, when I press the button, the latch is powered off first, but is left with enough signal in the end to power itself back on. And using a redstone link, we can use this on several latches, ensuring that only the one we select will be on and the other ones are turned off first to avoid any disasters when dealing with cart assembler setups occupying the same physical space. So when we select one, and then we go to this delivery chest and unlock the chute that's sitting on top of it, you'll see that we're getting some yellow concrete. And when we select another item, say some purple concrete, then go and unlock the chute, we'll see purple concrete coming through. Now, unfortunately, this type of contraption doesn't work well with schematics, so instead I'll be making a block-by-block tutorial video sometime soon, so make sure to check back for it in a week or two. And with that, I want to remind you that the schematics for the other contraptions are all linked in the description below. There's also a link to my Discord and several other useful resources, so make sure to check them out before you leave. And finally, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.